Have you ever get that feeling that something quiet slides into place behind you, and the room does not change, but you do? You are washing a cup or staring at a traffic light, and for a breath, the noise that usually runs your body goes still. No announcement, no proof. Just a soft certainty that lands deeper than logic and leaves a clean line where the knot used to live. You would never brag about it because it is too small to explain. Yet it keeps returning like a gentle tap on a locked door you once gave up on. After months of almost and years of paying your dues without a receipt, a part of you wants to believe that this click means something. The other part rolls its eyes to protect you from disappointment and tells you to focus on what you can measure. What if I told you that this small click is often the first sign that a big win is nearer than your anxiety will let you imagine? Anxiety stretches distance. It turns minutes into miles and convinces you that because the scoreboard is quiet, nothing is moving. But when the wind draws close, the air changes first. The pressure drops in ways your body reads before your mind agrees. The task that matters stops hiding. A conversation that used to drain you loses its grip. You say one honest sentence and the day reorganizes around it. This is not a trick. It is your inner alignment starting to replace the grind you learned to survive. A big win is not only an event, it is a weight. If it lands before your hands are steady, you drop it. If your hands are steady, the same moment lifts you instead of sweeping your life off the table. Here is what that steadiness begins to look like from the inside. You need fewer speeches to move yourself. Your choices stop tasting like apology. You place your attention where it belongs, and it stays long enough to gather momentum. You feel less urgency to convince anyone because you can finally hear the difference between impatience and readiness. The universe is not teasing you with distant promises. It is checking that the vessel you are building can hold what you ask for without leaking at the seams. When the vessel proves itself, the world meets it like water meeting the shape of a harbor. In the minutes ahead, we are going to read these instruments together. We will learn how to notice the pressure drop that precedes the turn, how to hear the subtle pattern pings that confirm direction, how to follow runway lights when they begin to sequence, and how to match your pace to your alignment so you do not skid past what is already leaning toward you. You are not late. You are near. The work now is to trust what your breath already knows and walk when the lights say walk. Pressure drop is the first evidence that the season has shifted. It will not scream. It will show up as a body that stops arguing with you every time you choose what matters. It is the evening where your shoulders descend without you telling them to. It is the moment you realize the right task has floated to the top of the pile 3 days in a row without you wrestling it there. Pressure drop does not mean your life is suddenly easy. It means the friction that used to make every step feel like you were dragging a full bag through sand has been replaced by ground that finally gives you something back when you push. Notice how your breath behaves when you do the honest thing. If it steadies while your mind tries to invent new reasons to delay, trust the breath. The breath is reading the room before the mind updates its notes. The mind will ask for guarantees. It will want a schedule, a contract, an oath from the future. Give it something kinder. Give it stewardship. Stewardship is what you practice when you cannot control outcomes, but you can control continuity. Keep one promise to your mornings. Keep one promise to your body. Keep one promise to the work that proves you meant it yesterday. These small, faithful repetitions build a gravity that the outer world begins to recognize. You will not need to beg. Gravity does not beg. Gravity arranges. As pressure drops, grief may rise. That does not mean you are going the wrong way. It means your nervous system is releasing the strain of pretending you were fine. Bless what carried you and let it sit down. You are not discarding your history. You are retiring a method that could not carry the weight of what is coming. This is how capacity grows. You make space, and then you fill it with something honest. Clean space is not emptiness. Clean space is invitation. Pattern pings are next. Think of them as small, precise signals that repeat until you notice. A stranger uses the exact phrase you wrote in your journal. An idea you shelved last season returns with better timing. A person who lives the way you want to live appears in your orbit twice in 1 week, as if the field is introducing you. Pattern pings are easy to miss because they do not flatter you. They educate you. The right ones feel like recognition, not adrenaline. They are familiar in the way truth is familiar when you stop forcing it to sound special. Treat them as feedback more than fortune-telling. When a ping arrives, align one small action to it before the day closes. Send the message. Ask the question. Move the appointment that keeps getting in the way of what you already know matters. The power is not in noticing. The power is in answering. Some pings will ask you to release a commitment that looked impressive but never fit. This is not failure. This is alignment reminding you that you cannot keep carrying everything you promised from a fearful season into a steady one. Relieving yourself of an obligation that no longer belongs is not quitting. It is recalibrating the aircraft so the landing gear does not snap when it touches down. You are not building a brand. You are building a life that can hold the weight of a wind without cracking beneath it. Runway lights will follow. In airports, the lights take you from the sky to the exact patch of ground that can receive you. They do not shout. They sequence. One light, then another, each appearing at the next point that wants your feet. In your life, they show up as opportunities that are not loud but are exact. You receive an invitation to a conversation that addresses the one constraint that always stalled you. A door that stayed shut for a year swings on a Tuesday when you finally walk with the posture that matches it. Your calendar, for the first time in a long time, looks like it belongs to the person you are becoming instead of the person you were trying to keep comfortable. Follow the sequence. Do not leap 15 lights ahead. You are not trying to prove you are fast. You are proving you are coherent. Coherence feels like weight placed in the right part of the boat. You still cross water. You simply stop fighting every wave. On coherent days, your decisions land with the soft thud of something that fits. On incoherent days, you will try to compensate with noise. Catch that quickly. Return to the last light you were sure about and stand there until the next one appears. The next one always appears. Not because the universe is catering to you, but because alignment reveals what has been there the whole time, while misalignment hid it behind your hurry. There is a moment in every approach where fear tries to dress up as wisdom. It will say you need 1 more month to prepare. It will say the timing is almost right, but not quite. It will remind you of the last time you reached and fell. Wisdom does not humiliate you. Wisdom asks for clarity and then invites movement. Status quo fear demands guarantees and then punishes you for breathing too loudly. You can tell the difference by the residue they leave. Wisdom leaves you clearer after you listen. Status quo fear leaves you smaller after you obey. Choose clarity even if you must take a smaller step than your pride prefers. Pause here. Let your shoulders drop. If this is landing at the exact time you need it, type 1 receive in the comments. Not to perform, to anchor. A simple declaration turns the hallway into a room. It gives you a place to return when the old voice tries to bargain you back into delay. Declare it once and then let your next action prove it louder than your words. Alignment velocity is the pace at which you move when your inner shape matches your outer steps. Speed without alignment is skidding. Alignment without speed is drift. Your win asks for both. You build velocity by reducing the distance between knowing and doing. When you understand the next honest action, move before you open the group chat to collect permission. When your body relaxes at a choice that used to tense it, seal that choice with something visible in your calendar. When an answer arrives that does not flatter your ego but steadies your bones, accept the answer and keep walking. The longer you live like this, the less you chase motivation because you no longer need a speech to do what is already congruent. As velocity builds, you will be tempted to expand every part of your life at once. Do not. Expand only what can remain coherent under new weight. Increase rest while you increase output. Increase boundary while you increase visibility. Increase gratitude while you increase responsibility. This is how a vessel holds. This is how a win becomes a beginning, and not a one-time rescue that leaves you emptier than before. People around you will react to your change in different ways. Some will move closer without words because steadiness is a magnet. Some will step back because your coherence makes their delay louder. Bless both. You do not need to argue anyone into believing in the door you already unlocked. You do not need to make public announcements about private growth. The rooms that belong to you will recognize the sound of your steps. The invitations that carry your name will stop getting lost in the mail. Let presence do the introducing. Let results do the convincing. You are not auditioning. You are arriving. You may feel a brief loneliness as the circle recalibrates. That is not punishment. That is space being cleared for people who can meet you at this altitude. You will know them by the way you do not need to edit yourself in their presence. You will know them by how conversations leave you taller instead of thinner. You will know them by how they celebrate your direction, rather than try to negotiate you back into the version of yourself that made them comfortable. When confusion returns, and it will return, do not insult your progress by pretending you learn nothing. Return to the instruments. Pressure drop, pattern pinks, runway lights, alignment velocity. Read them in that order. Ask which one you ignored. Correct it with one small act that a calmer version of you would recognize as obvious. Small acts compound. Compounding turns movement into momentum, and momentum into a gravity that makes what is yours easier to keep. If a door resists even after you align, it may still be your door. Some doors are heavy because they protect rooms worth entering. Pull with form rather than panic. Breathe while you pull. Ask for help from people who carry their own weight and do not treat you like a ladder. If the door does not budge after honest attempts, stop calling it your destiny to prove your loyalty to an old idea. Step 3 feet to the left and try the door that is not on the brochure but sits in the same wall. Sometimes the door you want and the door you need are neighbors. There will be days when you wake without the feeling, and your mind will try to declare a setback. Do not turn a quiet morning into a prophecy of loss. Read what is in front of you. If the air is neutral, make it honest. Honesty is whether you can fly in. Keep your morning promise. Keep your body promise. Keep your work promise. Watch how quickly the instruments return when you behave like the person you decided to be on brighter days. Identity leads weather more often than weather leads identity. If you have been holding on for a long time, relief may scare you at first. Relief feels like letting the ground carry more of your weight than you are used to. Practice receiving without apology. Practice finishing days when the work is complete, rather than when your guilt is exhausted. Practice saying thank you when provision arrives instead of pretending it is an accident. Gratitude is not a performance for the sky. Gratitude is a way of teaching your nervous system that it is safe to keep what it once only dreamed of touching. When the wind finally shows its face, you will recognize it as something you have already been living in smaller ways. That is the point. The event will be big because the capacity was made big enough to hold it. You will not need to become someone else overnight. You will become more of the person you have been practicing to be in the quiet. People will call it sudden. You will know it was prepared. If this message met you in the very hour you needed, say I receive in the comments, and then let one action carry the sentence into your actual day. Send the note that keeps asking to be written. Move the appointment that makes everything else late. Speak the boundary that keeps your attention from bleeding out. Then send this to one person who is still refreshing the same screen and tell them the air can change before the numbers do. You are not waiting for life to crown you. You are choosing a life that fits. The lights you need will appear in order. The pace you need will be available the moment you choose it over performance. The wind that belongs to you is not a trick or a favor you must repay with endless exhaustion. It is a responsibility that will make you more yourself if you carry it like someone who intends to keep it. Read the air. Follow the lights. Match your speed to your shape. When the ground rises to meet, you do not flinch. Land, breathe, and begin.